Welcome, collective. All right, so good morning and all that good stuff. The messages that I'm going to deliver based on what I'm allowed to know through my gifts via my spiritual team, they are not on the high vibrational side, okay? Some of them are warnings, some of them are revelations that is pertaining to hidden things. Okay, it's not for the ordinary collective. Okay, um, if you know, you know. Okay, so I'm not quite sure if I can say take it if this resonate because it's a different type of vibration here. Okay, um, we're gonna start with the lightest message. Okay, long story short. Um, whoever you dealt with in your past that you guys were trying to get to know, um, whether it's a karmic soulmate, a twin flame, but I'm getting the energy of like they took your energy for granted, okay? Their intention was just to keep it physical or just to um, they could have like misunderstood you, misinterpreted you, got wrong information about you. Like I'm really getting a soulmate energy, okay? Like you were trying to get to know a person from your past, and they could have found out that you were spiritual, and they could have deemed that as something negative. They could got the wrong information, and this is pertaining to whomever. But the fact of the matter is that right now, in this present time, they know the truth. They got some sort of revelation, and in their dreams. Okay, I think that's the easiest way I can explain it. And now they know that you're not somebody that had bad intentions. They also know for those who have a little bit of a deeper soulmate connection, um, some of them are aware that there is magic. Okay, so they are aware about that. So whatever happened in the past that didn't work out with a past soulmate, okay, in any shape or form, but I don't feel like it's somebody that you know, that is somebody that you were trying to get to know, you know. Um, there was a lot of judgment that was passed upon you, heavy if you're into spirituality or religious, because I'm getting that there is opposition of like, let's say into meditation and crystals. Whoever your person knew and was trying to get some sort of advice upon you, they could have said that you are somebody that is evil, you know. But in this present time, they got a revelation that whoever was giving them that advice was trying to lead them astray from you. They're the one that's negative, and yeah, I don't know if they want to come back or they're sorry or whatever, but what I do know is they have truth about you, okay? Because you have been nothing but good to this person. They know this, but they were scared, intimidated, thinking that, you had some sort of ulterior motive. But what happened was that there was magic involved in order to make whoever you dealt with the soulmate to misinterpret you, okay? But they got revelations in the dreams about you, about this person, and heavy about if they know anything about magic, They know that they were spiritually attacked for them to be away from you and view in a different light. Okay. That is insight number one. Um, and whoever was viewing you in that different light, it is a masculine energy, a masculine soulmate, a masculine twin flame, masculine karmic. Um, I'm not sensing them being toxic. I'm just sensing them being unawakened and allowing this magic to fester on them in order to guys for them to view in a just different light. Okay. All right. So we got that first message out. Nothing too heavy, as you guys can tell. You might also get one of you guys might get a phone call because as soon as I was talking more in depth about this, my phone was ringing. Mind you, that yeah. So one of you guys you might hear something from them, or it could just be this information. Okay, if it's not actually from them, you're gonna hear some sort of like something. Okay, some reaching out through a phone call. Um, Side note, take that if it resonates. Okay. Now, the following message here is a little bit interesting. This reminds me of the messages I did when it comes to certain type of people and certain type of groups um, that doesn't pertain to the collective. And I will be just back to back getting revelations here on things that little old me would never like. There's no way I could even be in the same like if you know you know like you guys know I'm an intuitive energy reader, but there's some messages you would be questioning how I know them. Hey, ask my spiritual team. This is one of those messages here. At first I could easily link this to like I don't know why I was kind of drawn to watching biographies. Like this is something I really love to do. Like that's like my thing. Back when I was younger, I love watching like biographies of people, heavy on um me like celebrities, but like old celebrities, like 50s, 60s, things of that nature. I've always had like a fascination with people's storyline, people that actually know music. I am a music enthusiast, but um, and this time I was like, okay, let me watch Priscilla, Elvis' wife, main wife. Okay, and it was pretty heartbroken. I've seen other bios of Elvis, and I kind of know a little bit. I feel like a lot of people do know, but when I saw the vision from her point of view, I was like, ooh, okay. It makes sense though, but it's kind of like, wow. And before that, on my personal YouTube, there were like a lot of people talking about doing like reviews on models and so on. That's not really like my forte. I'm more of a music enthusiast individual. But yeah, I was kind of watching a few docu reviews about Kate Moss and Naomi Campbell and so on. So I was thinking, oh, okay, that's interesting. Um, a lot of like famous people have hard lives, and my personal, I wouldn't say fear because I'm not really afraid of anything other than God. If I'm gonna be really honest, um, but on a 3D level, being famous is not what it's cracked up to be. There's a huge prize that comes with being famous. Um, and while I was watching one of the docus on, it was like on YouTube on Kate Moss, it was on my feed, and it wasn't that long. Um, there was a lot of people commenting and so on, and the things that they were saying in the comments, um, it stifled me a bit because it reminded me of the readings I did back to back, just crazy on a loop. about revelations that a lot of people don't even have access to, and it's pretty dark. And when it comes out in Revelation, I'll be like, oh my God, this is actually true. One of the examples, if you look at my community board, um, there are things that I was revealing that in this present time is coming out in Revelation to the public. This is one of those things. So when one of the commentators on this modeling Kate Moss video, they were talking about how models was like traffic kid, and you know, and then Kate Moss was like sharing her story where it's like, oh, I didn't think much of it when I was a kid, and I wouldn't allow like my kid to do this. I was like freaking 14, 15, you know, like I would never. And there's some things I didn't want to do, but that was a thing back then because it was kind of like the norm, and people were just so casually be like exploiting people. And it's so funny going back to the Elvis Priscilla documentary here. At some point, Elvis was talking about how, because he was also known to be a serial cheater as well, and he had this fling with a Swedish, um, well, I would say a Swedish immigrant in America called Anne Margaret. Um, it was so funny as well because I didn't know this personally, but I found out through the docuseries that she was um, a Swedish immigrant, and she was a superstar, and she had this huge fling with Elvis. They almost like got married. It's or they did something of this nature, but it's kind of like they had other people that they were okay being with each other. And when I read her storyline and Margaret, like her book version, she a lot of people in Elvis camp was talking about how they wanted her to be the main person, and she had much more integrity and respect, and was kind of like one of the guys. And they were downplaying on Priscilla and how she was immature and intimidated by them. And I was there reading this like, well, I don't think she was. It's not the perception of how her docu-series was showing her to be. But I will say this: if she felt intimidated or insecure, or whatever the case may be, yes, she was a freaking child. 14, 15 is a freaking child. Like, I just diving into all of this, I'm here thinking like, wow, this is insane. Even if it was the norm back then, it doesn't make it right. And I know I'm talking a lot, and I'm like, oh my god, people probably feel like, oh, I'm just getting it all from watching this, reading about this. But no, okay. Um, and the reason why I'm talking about this docuseries and Priscilla's documentary here, and what I read about the commentators talking about how things were in the industry back in the days, is it correlates to the insight, the revelation I got through the spirit realm, okay, through dream channelings. So this is something that's going to be revealed in this present time. Because I was thinking first when I got this message, oh, this is something of the past because I watched this and I read this and such. But no, according to a few shuffling and my spiritual team showed me what it really was. It's going to be revealed in this present time. I haven't even gotten into the details of this inside here, but long story short, it has linked to what I've just talked about. Um, so there's some sort of trafficking going on, okay? Um, and I saw a lot of it was two girls, two Caucasian young girls, okay? It started off in America, and then they went to different places like globally. And when I say globally, countries, okay? Um, Teenagers. I don't know if they could have been the same age as Priscilla when she met Elvis, but they were drugged. Okay, and I'm not talking about the 1950s drugged. Like, it was just horrible. And yeah, and This is much more linked to the film industry than the music industry or the modeling stuff that I mentioned. Okay. So something is going on with that. Okay. And this is going to come in revelation within a few weeks because it's happening right now and it's going to be out in the open within a few weeks. I always say if it's not right now, it's going to take place in the near future, but according to some card shuffling within a few weeks, because I have to clarify this because it's pretty like stifling to get something of this nature and be like, oh my God, what am I supposed to do? When I get messages half of the time, a lot of the time, especially if it's like, if I'm not out and about and not doing anything or not even interacting with people like that, people would think that this is insane. You know, what is all this about? But if you've seen my community board or even like the earlier messages that I've done in detail, and it's not pertaining to love and more so on hidden things, you'd be like, oh my God, I cannot believe this. This is one of those messages. Okay. So yeah, there's some sort of that going on. I don't know how much I can repeat it on YouTube. Heavy in the film industry. These young girls wanted to start in movies, and they was kind of thrown into this, or the promise was that they were going to start into movies, and I feel like they did something of this nature. And I'm not talking about the adult industry. That's the thing. That doesn't make it right, but like, yeah, something of this nature. And I don't know if I'm getting like spiritually attacked about it. I know there are some messages where there's some individuals, okay, that don't really like what I'm saying. I know it's a kind of different vibe when I do like the shallow stuff, like, oh, the message from your person and love and soulmate. I know it's a different type of vibe when I do those and when I do this. If you know, you know. Um, but hey, God chose me to deliver this message. There's not much I can do. I will tell you this: if I didn't do nothing of this, somebody else would do, and there always will be. Like, and this is what I've learned throughout my entire spiritual awakening. Before I was into this, when I was religious, all of this, in terms of the revelations I get, what I was told, if I don't do it, somebody else will. So it is what it is, right? Like I want to stop getting messages because I don't post on YouTube. So there's that. The people that are in this situation with the two youngsters, teenagers, they will get help. Um, in one of the South Asian countries, okay, or warm climate, I'm not sure if, yeah, South Asian countries, okay, where just two youngsters, teenagers, at some point, one of the film crew, a female, a blonde female, who's an adult, she has short hair, she would come in and she would get them out, okay? Um, and I don't want to tell where these young females will hide out because I don't think that they are safe enough to return to their home country, which is America, okay? Um, and I know America isn't, I'm just leave it at that, okay? They will get rescued and they will get out of this entire operation. Thank God. Okay. Again, I was chosen to deliver this, and I know there are some people that are hating on this, but fuck it. So there's that. And lastly but not least, um, and this is for people that was trying to attack me, wherever you're from, whoever you are, okay? I literally saw Archangel Michael take you down with one of his staff, okay, by the neck. So when I tell you this, if I don't do anything, which I normally don't do, my team will. And that's um I know who that's for, okay? But you have been warned and I saw it in action and that's on that. Okay.